Hello and welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and with nearly 30 years experience in the industry, I'm really excited to share practical insights, valuable wisdom, and all the tools that you need to build a thriving private practice. So whether you're a counsellor, psychologist, social worker, or play therapist, this podcast is all about keeping it real with stories, strategies, and all the support you need to help you flourish in business. We're going to be embracing a mind, business, spirit approach, diving into honest conversations that will uplift your practice and soul. And if you haven't already, come and join us in the Counsellors Connect Australia Facebook group. It's totally free and you'll find a warm, supportive community of like-minded professionals. So go grab your favorite drink, your journal, a pen, get cozy, and let's dive into the mind, business, spirit approach to private practice that you've been looking for. Welcome, everybody. I am so pleased that you're here. Good morning and happy Saturday. Okay, so I wasn't really sure what we're going to talk about today, to be completely honest with you, because I've woken up and just been sort of having a slow morning with Buddy. So I've been struggling lately. My ADHD has been very, very noticeable, really playing up. And so I've been trying to implement new strategies to help me focus a little bit better. I've been feeling very excited about buying planners. I've seen some beautiful planners advertised online, and I keep getting the impulse to go and buy them, and I'm reminding myself, no, don't. You're going to spend $100 on it. You'll use it for a week and then you'll forget about it. But I wanted to have a bit of a play around with some strategies that could work. And one of the things that I realized is that when I'm planning things for the practice, when I'm planning out my day or my work week, I had this epiphany last night that I think what I have been doing is maybe going in and into my Google Calendar. I time block, which is a really good thing to do. But apart from the time blocking, I think what I have been doing in the past is listing out things that need to be done, kind of like a to-do list. I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, so I've got to do this. I've got to send an email. I've got to do this post. I want to get something up on YouTube. I need to record a podcast. So I've just been writing them out. And over the last, maybe month, I have been trying to be more conscientious about how I'm spending my time. I've been doing things like using time trackers and stuff like that. And it was while I was reviewing my time tracking data yesterday that I had the awareness, epiphany, the light bulb went off, that I realized that when I look at my time tracker, so my time tracker is just like a little timer that I put on my Mac, and every time I start a task, I just hit start, and then I time how long it takes me to complete that task. Then I hit end, and then I've just got a little sheet basically where I write down what I did and how long it took me. That's all. And I do that every day for work. So I've been doing that for about 30 days and then adding up all the time and stuff like that. So I was reviewing it because the 30 days was up a couple of days ago. So I had an opportunity last night to sit down and review it. So I was looking at that, and then I was looking at my calendar for the upcoming week, and I was comparing them, and it suddenly dawned on me that I underestimate the amount of time it takes me to do things. And so this is contributing to that feeling of rushing and being pressured. And somebody shared with me, I forget who it was, but somebody shared with me that it's kind of like when you're a child, right? When you're little and you're going to be playing, you've got to go and set up your stuff, and then you've got to play with it, and then you've got to pack up your stuff. And this is so true, because I can remember when I was really little, so I'm the eldest of 6 children, and I can remember when I was really little, like maybe I was 10 years old, something like that. My mum, she used to be in the kitchen cooking, and we would come home from school, and around the table, she would have 6 places, each with its own activity. So one activity might have been a puzzle. Another one was a Barbie perfume maker. Another one was the Crayola caddy, which was like a big deal in our house because it had it was this plastic caddy, and it was on like a Lazy Susan. It was like really precious. We all loved this Crayola caddy. There was Play-Doh at another one. I can't remember. I think, oh, felt stuff. So we had these felt pieces and we used to make felt pictures and stuff like that. And then there was something else. Oh, I think it was like a mock kitchen set and we used to like, pretend we were cooking or something. So what used to happen was my mum would say to me, can you put the little ones in the lounge room, turn the TV on for a minute while you and I set up the activities? And so I used to help my mum set up the activities, and then I'd get my brother and sisters in and we'd all sit down at the table and my mum would time us. I don't know how long it was. Let's say it was 10 minutes per activity. And then when the 10 minutes was up, we all used to have to tidy up our little station, make it nice for the next person, and then we'd rotate and we'd move on to the next seat. And so this was how my mum managed to keep 6 children quiet and entertained while she was busy doing things like cooking for 8 people or 9 people at that stage because my nan was living with us. So that was how she managed it. My dad was still out at work because he didn't used to come home until quite late, and my nana was very sick, and so she used to live in a granny flat in the backyard. So it was really down to my mum to get all of this done. But the point is, it really made me recall and get tuned into, oh yeah, you've got to have like prep time, and then you've got to have time to actually do what you're doing, and then you've got to have time to pack up. I never applied that strategy to work. But it looks like if I look at my tracking, and I don't know, it could be the same for you, maybe it's going to be different, but I think I was just never factoring in that set up, do it, and pack up time. And this is really, really interesting because different activities that I do require different preparation. Like if I'm going to see a client, that's a very different preparation to if I'm going to create a social media post compared to if I'm going to research for an article, which, by the way, I am researching for an article at the moment. And I think I alluded to this on a previous episode, but I'll do a proper episode on it once I've finished the article. I mean, I've just ended up going down all of these different paths that I didn't expect to be going down, but as part of the research, I just thought, I was asked to write an article. I was like, yeah, cool, sweet, no problem. I can do that standing on my head. Like, I have a PhD. I know how to research. I know how to write. I find it fun and enjoyable. I can do it like very quickly. So I was like, yeah, happy to write that for you. And it's on psychology and all this sort of stuff. And anyway, I decided I was going to go back to like, Freud being the founding father of modern day psychology. And I thought it would just be interesting to do a little bit of research on Freud. And anyway, as I said, ended up going down this rabbit hole just very quickly, just because you might find it interesting. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to offend some people, but I'm sorry if it's going to offend you. I'm just sharing what the research is telling me, and it's going to be offensive because you probably didn't know it, and I certainly was offended when I found out too. Well, I don't know that I was offended. I think I was shocked and I was in disbelief. I didn't believe it. So then I researched it more, right? But anyway, basically, the research that I've come across just in 25 words or less, there was this guy and he was in charge of archives for a lot of Freud's work, and he thought that he would start to translate it, blah, 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 blah. A lot of this stuff had only been partially translated, so he decided he was going to focus on translating the rest just because he was interested and curious and liked Freud and all of this sort of stuff. Then he was mortified because he found out that Freud was surrounded by people who were Frankists. So I don't know if you're familiar with Frankism, probably not. It still exists, but it is I don't know that you call it a religion or it's not a cult. I think it's more sort of, let's call it a belief system. And one of the things that they believe in is, I don't know a nice way of saying it, but let's just say having special relationships with minors. Anyway, so that's one of the things that they really believe in and they really value and that they're very proactive with. Let's just say, as I said, told you this is not nice to listen to, but it's very interesting. Anyway, Freud wasn't one himself, but he was surrounded by a community of them. And it looks like perhaps if you join dots, maybe he was heavily influenced by them. Because when we start to look at his early work and then how that work and how some of his theories developed, we can see that there was what perhaps can be perceived by some people to be like not a cover up, but maybe making it acceptable or making it admissible to have those special relationships with minors. Yeah, I'm just trying to be very careful about how I say it for obvious reasons. I trust you know what I mean, but just in case there are little ears around, I'm trying to be very careful with how I'm talking about this. But yeah, and you can see that in some of his earlier work and as it developed, as I was saying a moment ago, he's done things like one of his theories is, children who had been, SA'd. He would, maybe some people might call victim blame, and suggest to the children that perhaps in some way they were responsible because perhaps in some way they had behaved, spoken, given the impression to an adult that they were attracted to the adult. And so therefore it's not the adult's fault that they acted on it. Anyway, it's a can of worms. It's a can of worms. And as I said, I'm still trying to make sense of it all. I'm still trying to piece it all together. And I will let you know when the article has been written, and I will do a podcast episode on it for you. And I'll be happy to share the links to the research that I'm reading now, the articles that I'm referencing now, the books that I'm reading now, because yeah, what started off as something that I thought was going to be quite an easy article to write has actually turned into something bigger than Ben-Hur. But anyway, I wasn't anticipating the setup, the writing and the packing up. So now I know over the next little while what I'm going to do with my Google Calendar is factor in more time for me to do things. And I'm just going to be interested to see if that has any effect on how I function with the ADHD and my difficulty concentrating. I find it easy to concentrate on little things for short bursts. I find it difficult to sustain concentration for any amount of time unless I'm working on something that's holding my interest, in which case I totally lose track of time. So as you know, I care for my mum, live with her. I will say to her sometimes, I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm just going to let Buddy out to the toilet. Buddy's my Cavalier Cross Maltese, who I am obsessed with. I just love this guy so much. He's the best dog ever. And yeah, I'll let him out outside. I'll let him out the back. And then while that's happening, I'll just come into the office here and I'll just have a quick look at the computer or something. Next thing you know, I've spent 5 or 6 hours in here. I don't even realise it. And I go out and reconnect with my mum, and she's like, where have you been? You said you were only going to be 10 minutes. Like, I feel like I was only 10 minutes, but no, actually hours have gone by. So this happens. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, like this whole idea of perhaps instead of, if you have ADD as well, I just want you to have a look at your calendar and see, what are you doing? Are you like listing stuff to do, or are you actually taking into account the amount of time that it's going to take you to do it and then setting aside that block? Right? So for those of you who do time block like I do, maybe this is just going to be a matter of how do I tweak and adjust the tasks that I'm putting into that time block that I've set aside for my admin or my marketing and things like that, right? It's all fascinating stuff, very interesting. I'm very much learning on the fly and sharing my experiences with you as I go along, because I want to share them, but also because, I don't know, you just never know. Maybe something I'm doing might help one of you. I don't know. Or maybe some of you have other ideas on what works for you, in which case let me know and I can share them with our beautiful podcast community. Oh, speaking of our beautiful podcast community, we were so close to 100 downloads. Let me just go into Podbean and have a quick look and see where we are with our downloads. Okay. OMG, we've done it. We're at 100 downloads, 100.2 downloads. So I don't know what that means. Is that 100,002 120, is that 100,000 and 200? I don't know, it just says 100.2K downloads. It's all very exciting. We'll have to do something to celebrate, I think. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. And I just really appreciate you so much. It's so weird to be doing this podcast. I'm just at a stand-up desk on GarageBand with my Yeti microphone and my brand new Sony headphones because I'm sick of my Apple earbuds. They keep popping out all the time and then one dies and the other one, I'm over the Apple earbuds, but I've got these Sony wireless headphones now, and it's me and the equipment, and I never know who's listening. So I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the podcast. So I want to give you something else today that might be helpful. This is something that I wanted to share with you because it came up in my More Clients marketing program. So for those of you who are new to my world, welcome. I have a couple of courses that I offer to people who want to start, grow and scale their private practice. And one of those programs is about marketing. And this has come up lately about websites and things like that. And I was reflecting on my own journey with websites and wanted to think, how could I help my students even more? And I was thinking about, how did I first start trying to sell counselling services, because it was really hard to go from being in that bulk bill medical centre where I just had people who wanted the service. I didn't have to sell anything. They already wanted to have psychology, so I didn't need to sell. They already they booked their appointments. Everything was kind of done for me, and then I had to quickly figure out, oh my gosh, now I've got to go to them, and how am I going to do that? So I created this website, did a really horrible job of it, though at the time I loved my website. It was in the trending colours, which were yellow, grey and white. I loved my website so much. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread because it had a booking button on it. Oh no, it didn't. It didn't have a booking button. It said to call me. What else did it have? I'm just trying to think. Oh, it had this great big logo on it that took up most of the page. It had all those bits and pieces. It was, looking back, if I did a website review on that website, I would give myself a lot of suggestions about what to do, what to consider doing, because it needed a lot of work and it just wasn't converting. If I think about how I was selling, because that's what it is, isn't it? You're selling your counselling or your play therapy or your OT or your speechy services, your psych services. If I think about how I was selling it, I was doing a really bad job. I was mostly just talking about myself. I was talking about my qualifications. I was like almost trying to convince people or justify a fee. Prove to them that I could help them. That was like my mindset, I guess. And I was speaking more about the counselling, and I was pushing like you can get into semi-quickly. I have this great process where you don't have to go on a wait list. I had all these things, but it didn't help me get clients. And now that I've got all this experience under my belt, can actually speak to my younger self, and I want to share with you what I would say to her because I don't know, maybe this will help you too. But if I could go back and talk to my younger self who had her very first private practice website, who thought she'd nailed it but actually had no idea what she was doing, I would say to her, lovely, you're not selling counselling, okay? You're not selling counselling, you're not selling psychology, you're not selling play therapy, you're not selling what it is, right? What you should be focusing on is selling the outcome. I know. It seems so obvious, doesn't it? But I didn't do it. So it's called features and benefits. So the feature is what somebody going to get. Well, they're going to get a standard consultation that goes for 50 or 60 minutes, or they're going to get a report, or they're going to get an assessment, or they're going to get whatever it is, right? That's what I was focusing on selling. I wasn't really speaking into the benefits, and I didn't realize that nobody's interested in the features. Everybody's more interested in the benefits. So the benefit is that if you're a counsellor, for example, you shouldn't be on your website selling counselling. What you should be doing is focusing on selling the benefit of counselling. for your niche, for your client, right? So if you've got somebody who's really anxious and maybe they can't sleep at night and maybe they can't concentrate and maybe they're nervous about going to work or they don't want to be in a shopping centre where there's too many people or things like that, you need to be speaking into what are the benefits of getting counselling. Well, the benefits of getting counselling are going to be that you'll have better sleep. You'll be able to sleep through the night perhaps. You'll wake up feeling calm and feeling refreshed and not feeling like you have to push or rush or be scared or be nervous. You'll be able to go to the shops and enjoy being able to get your groceries because you're not going to be feeling panicky. You're not going to be looking over your shoulder. You're not going to be worried about what everybody else is thinking or what if they're judging you or what they might be saying about you or anything like that. You'll just be able to go to the shops like you've always wanted to do without that worry. Or do you know what I mean? So that's what you need to be selling. That's what I would tell my younger self, right? And then I would probably even now that I know what I know about marketing and websites, I'd probably even tell her, use like a drop down arrow technique. So, when you learn CBT, there's this thing called the drop down arrow technique, and you say, but why? And how would that make you feel? But why? And how would that make you feel? And why? And how would that make, and you just keep drilling down, 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 down. Or you say, but why, and what would that mean, and why, and what would that mean, and why, and what would that mean? So it's just go down, 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 drill, 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 drill. So I would take that same approach now, and I would apply it to the benefits. So I would say, if the benefit is, sorry, just going to let Buddy out. I'll be back in 1 second. So if the benefit is you'll be able to go to the supermarket without worrying about what other people are thinking or saying about you, another benefit, that would be a good thing because then you can go and get everything that you need in one trip, right? And what would be good about that? Well, getting everything that I need in one trip would be really great because I'm not going to have to go to the supermarket all the time, or I'm not going to be stressed that I didn't get all the ingredients that I need or stuff like that. And what would be good about that? Well, then I would just have an easier life. Just my life would be so much easier. So I would tell my younger self who was doing a website, look at a drop down arrow technique for the benefit of the benefit. And I would just say, and why is that a good thing? And why is that a good thing? And why is that a good thing? And I think that's probably going to be the fastest way that I can get to the impactful benefits, and that is what I would put on the website. So I'd still sell the counselling and say this is a service that I offer, but I would speak more into the benefits, and it would be like what was at the bottom of that drop down arrow technique, if that makes any sense. So the benefit of the benefit. So I hope that makes sense. But you know what? I really, really love helping people with their marketing, and I really enjoy updating and fixing and sorting out people's websites and their messaging. So I really think that if your website isn't generating any inquiries or it's not generating any leads for you, that it's probably because of something simple like your messaging. And what I've shared with you here, it's only obviously one part. There's other things that you need to be aware of when it comes to things like messaging for your website. But if it's something that you'd like help with because you're feeling a little bit stuck or you're blocked or you can't see what you can't see, let me know, because I'll put a link in. Sorry, I just hit my headphones. I'll put a link in the show notes here because I am offering for November website audits, so website wellness checks for $27, but they do take me about an hour to do, and for that reason I'm only offering 10. So if it's more than 10, you might have to wait until December to get one, or maybe early next year. But for now, if you want one, you've got until the 30th of November. Normally these are $97, but they're just $27 just because I want to help some people. But as I said, they do take up a lot of my time and effort and energy because I want to give you 100% on these website wellness checks. So as I said, $27 for the next 10 people. I would love to offer that to you. So I hope this was interesting today. If you have any questions about it, or if there's anything else I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to let me know. If you like this episode, please give it a like or comment or share it. I really, really value you so much. Thanks for being part of my community. Have a beautiful day. Bye. I really hope that you got so much enjoyment, value, and insights out of this episode today. And if you did, please feel free to go ahead and leave a review. When you leave a review, it means that more therapists can access this help and support and tools to support them in their private practice and in their journeys. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Have a gorgeous day.